to TBC News, our top stories. Malawi votes. What is at stake? Premarital testing, myths and realities.
Hepatitis B, mental health, and also some of genetics disorders such as Marfan syndrome that could be prevented early.
Good evening, I am Chedi Imparanyanga. You can also follow us live via YouTube channel TBC Online and also get all the latest news through our Instagram, Facebook and X pages at TBC Online. Zanzibar presidential candidate for Chama cha Mapinduzi CCM, Dr. Hussein Ali Mwinyi, has promised to continue to work closely with farmers and entrepreneurs if his party is re-elected. He made the pledge in Zanzibar during a campaign rally held at Uzini Grounds, Unguja South Region, attended by various groups of citizens, including entrepreneurs, farmers, border riders, as well as CCM members, vowing that CCM will ensure an increase in funds to enable as many citizens to benefit from economic empowerment schemes.
Nyinyi ni mashahidi, sisi tukiahidi tunatekeleza. Tuliahidi mambo mengi.
You have all seen that when we make promises, we deliver. We pledged better health services and we built hospitals across the nation. We promised quality education. We built schools in both Unguja and Pemba. We committed to better infrastructure and we constructed tarmac roads. We vowed to boost trade and we established modern markets. Every promise has been honored, and that is why you can trust us again for the next term.
Furthermore, he has promised to build large food storage warehouses in Unguja and Pemba to control food prices while promising more than 350,000 jobs for youth through the mobilization of the private sector to invest.
As we conclude this 5-year term, we secured a 39 billion shillings loan from CRDB Bank, while the central government added 60 billion shillings, making it a total of 99 billion shillings for empowerment programs. The government agreed to pay the loan interest, while entrepreneurs received the funds interest-free. This is a major step, and we are going forward. We are determined to create more opportunities and provide interest-free.
And now let us head to Malawi. Malawians have voted today to elect their next president, parliamentarians and local councillors across 35 local governments. The country has a population of 21.6 million and some 7.2 million people are registered to vote across 35 local government authorities. According to the Malawi Electoral Commission, presidential results will be published by September 24th. Tanzania and Malawi enjoy cordial and historical ties, addressing bilateral trade challenges to forge deeper regional integration. To discuss further the impact of the election to Tanzania and the region, we are joined by a political analyst, Novatus Igosha. Igosha, welcome to TBC News.
Thank you for having me.
Now let's dive deep into this election. How is the issue of peaceful election an important aspect to Malawi?
It's very important, not only because peace is going to give investors confidence, but it's a cornerstone for any democratic nation. Now, if you look at Malawi, especially the relationship with Tanzania, because Malawi's election is very strategic for Tanzania because of our historical relationship. We established our diplomatic relations as early as 1985, but opened embassies 1986. So over the past 38 years, we have been having this bilateral relationship. Now, if you look at the crop of candidates, the incumbent Lazarus Chakwera of MCP, Dr. Kabambe of UTM, the former governor of the Central Bank of Malawi or the Reserve Bank, and if you look at Professor Peter Mutharika, these are candidates with the experience of politics. Their moral vision is pro-peace. The only challenge is that they are very senior citizens And this is the time that Africa needs new vision, new voices, new energy. Not because old people cannot work well, but times are changing. And therefore, as far as peace is concerned, Malawi is vital because it is the sliver geographical space between Zambia, Mozambique, and Tanzania in terms of trade corridors, food security, and of course, defense and security in the southern region as early as 1960s when we had been fighting the Boers, but also the voice within the southern part, 1955 when they had the so-called Nyasaland and Southern Rhodesia Federation, though Malawi seceded when it became independent. So since then, Malawi is very important. So the peace in Malawi is also peace in Zambia, is also peace in Mozambique, and also economically it's very vital for stability in Tanzania.
Okay, and you have mentioned how Tanzania and Malawi have deep bilateral ties. So how important is Malawi to Tanzania and the southeast region of Africa?
It's important in so many aspects, but number one, it's one of our strategic port clients. Of course, it's a landlocked country, so they transport most of their strategic goods from Dar es Salaam port. So we need them as a client, but we also need Malawi as a peaceful neighbor because we depend to continue to use the resources of the third largest lake in Africa, Lake Nyasa, which on one side of the border, it is in our country. On the other side of the border, it is in Malawi. So these relationships continue to be vital and are intertwined for our good peoples. But from a Pan-African spirit, Malawi is an important country in the Southern Corridor because we are also working together to keep peace on the larger SADC region. But under the terms of the Heligoland Treaty, we still have a diplomatic negotiation to go because there are so many fallacies as far as which lake belongs to which side and which border belongs to which side. So in the long run, I do believe that they are a strategic partner.
Okay. We are aware that Malawi has faced double-digit inflation. This pushed most of the food prices to go to record highs. But it also faced the issue of severe drought last year, as well as the cyclone Freddy, which claimed over 1,200 lives. So apart from these challenges, what are the other problems that Malawi is tackling with so far?
Okay, from a political policy, I think Malawi is having shortage of forex, foreign exchange, and there is so much depreciation of the currency, food prices are skyrocketing, and of course, youth unemployment is very, very high. But as far as the incumbent president is concerned, people are asking also for the accountability of financial resources, transparency, and many, many aspects of democracy. But they also want to see youth inclusivity in the democratic system. So when you see other old presidents coming back again, anyway, they might argue under Section 83 of Malawi Constitution, and I'm going to say section even for legal folks that are watching. In Malawi Constitution, the reference of the Constitution is section, not article, because of how genetically it is interpreted. Now, despite that, most youth feel that the government has forgotten them in terms of job opportunities, in terms of stabilizing the currency, and of course, trade is very difficult, and these inflationary measures are also affecting household incomes. So life is a little bit tough in Malawi right now, but politically tough circumstances are also political opportunities. So whomever wins the election, be it His Excellency Lazarus Chakwera or the other guy from DPP, the Honorable Peter Mutharika, or the former governor who is also running under UTM, he's going to have an opportunity to present himself of what he can do, given the experience of the hardships that are going on in the economy, but also the challenges that we're faced as geographical hazards, as you said.
Okay, so you have mentioned that we have discussed about the issue of elections as well as the peaceful aspect. What do you think, from an analyst now point of view, what will be the work in store for whoever will win the election?
The work in store, there can be so many things because I'm not down there, I'm not a Malawian citizen, but from an analytical point of view, whomever wins the election needs to stabilize the currency. He needs to ensure stability, financial accountability, but peace is vital for investors' confidence, but equal opportunity. New voices need to come up, and of course, having good relationship with the neighbors, including mainland Tanzania or United Republic of Tanzania, because we share vital trade relations. But on the other hand, Malawians would like to see the economy working again. Households need to earn a living, and therefore fuel needs to be stabilized in terms of how much it sells, because if the fuel is not very expensive, food crops can also be transported at a reasonable price, and opportunities can be coming into economies of scale, including to small-scale farmers and other people who are doing small-scale businesses. And the larger economy and the microeconomy is going to benefit.
Okay, and on that note, we have come to the end of our interview. Egosha, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, I appreciate being here.
Okay, moving on to the next news. In many communities, premarital medicinal testing is often focusing on single tests for HIV. But health experts are warning couples that only focusing on HIV leaves couples and their future children vulnerable to other preventable conditions. Asadels reports.
According to the World Health Organization, in Africa, up to 2.5 of children under 5 years carry infections and diseases such as chronic hepatitis B, rhesus, and sickle cell diseases, which are passed from mother to child during childbirth, where a simple premarital screening and vaccination could prevent many of these cases of illness that devastates families. Health experts are urging couples to embrace comprehensive medical screening before marriage.
The thing has been a very complex issue regarding that most of our couples are engaged in marital affairs or marriage with considering all a single test that has been done routinely, like HIV only, and leaving the rest, may I think, just not be tested.
According to Muhimbili University of Health and Allied Sciences, 7% of all deaths among Tanzanian children under the age of 5 are caused by sickle cell disease itself, whereby 11,000 to 14,000 babies are born with sickle cell annually.
But more on the importance of having thorough checkup on an extended profile of tests so that we prevent some of the diseases that are occurring and could be just prevented earlier. Some of diseases, for example, are sickle cell disease, hepatitis B, mental health, and also some of genetics disorders such as Marfan syndrome that could be prevented earlier.
A healthy family begins with responsible choices, and premarital medical testing is one of the most important steps, as shared.
What I can advise the community is that it is very important to ensure that all these medical tests are carried out. This is because they are necessary to prevent the challenges we're witnessing today, whereby many people are experiencing mental health issues due to neglecting the tests and rushing into marriage without proper self-examination. It is not right. It is important to get tested to know whether you're in good health. If a couple enters into marriage already aware of any existing condition, then it won't come as a surprise later or turn them into enemies.
For relationship, both partners should go for health checkups together so they can know what might help them live well as a couple. If it is discovered earlier on that one partner has a health problem, it is important to assess whether the issue can be solved. If it cannot be solved, then it means you may have to adjust your expectations. At that point, you need to ask yourself, does your heart truly love this person? It's more difficult When you tell young people today to test their health before getting married, it is so that both partners know each other's health status. Once you have both been tested and the results show that you are healthy, then you have peace of mind. There are also hereditary diseases which are risky and may not be detected without testing, but in for checkups, certainty, and the assurance.
I love you is fine, but not enough. Take precaution and save your future family. Esther Deus, TBC.
The Executive Director of the National Board of Accountants and Auditors of Tanzania, NBAA, CPA Pius Maneno, says the African Accounting Federation has selected Tanzania as a center of excellence for implementation of sustainable accounting reports that protect the environment, society, insisting that the training will encourage accountants to participate in preserving the environment and climate change.
In 2023, NBAA Governing Board approved the adoption of sustainability reporting from Sustainable Development Goals, SDGs. So in our reportings, especially reported by those charged with the governance, they are going to report issues on sustainability reporting to prepare policies and framework by 30 September 2025. We thank the Office of TR for that initiative, which have given a way for us to implement sustainability reporting in Tanzania. And by the way, sustainability reporting is not only for accountants, it's for everyone in the office, for everyone.
The 4-day training has involved accountants, heads of institutions, human resource officers, making the sum of the 500 people participating in bringing together environmental, sustainability, and good governance. The Bank of Tanzania has been recognized globally for its innovations in financial inclusion through the launch of new financial systems aimed at making digital payments faster, cheaper, and more accessible to all. With the launch of the national QR code system, TanQR, businesses across the country can now receive payments easily, whether through banks or mobile operators. Speaking in Dar es Salaam, Lucy Shahidi, the Director of National Payment Systems, says that the Bank of Tanzania has been awarded the Nestor Espanilla Jr. Financial Inclusion Innovation Award by the Alliance for Financial Inclusion of a network of 84 member countries, with Tanzania emerging as a leader.
This award is recognition of the initiatives that a Bank of Tanzania has steered in Tanzanian economy, being Tanzania Instant Payment System and Tanzania Quick Response Code, known as TanQR. The Tanzania Instant Payment System is a platform that has connected all banks and mobile financial service providers in the country. And at the moment, we have 40 participants, including 6 mobile money operators. The platform facilitates instant payments of person-to-person and merchant payments, and including other government use cases.
The bank has also shared its expertise with countries like Kenya, Lesotho, Rwanda, and Uganda. These efforts have paid off, as in the year 2024-2025 financial year, digital transactions reached over 560 million, valued at 41 trillion shillings, while QR code and Lipa number transactions alone hit 60 million, worth nearly 4 trillion shillings. A global recognition for Tanzania, proving innovation in payments is not just about technology, but also about building an inclusive financial future. The National Environmental Conservation and Management Council, NEMC, says it continues to be committed to ensure that environmental laws related to hazardous chemicals are followed, and to take legal action against any seller and user of chemicals that deplete the ozone layer. Speaking to TBC News in Dar es Salaam, the NEMC Director of Environmental Studies, Dr. Menan Jangu, says through inspections of factories, equipment stores, and chemical registration, it has helped reduce the use of chemicals that contribute to ozone depletion.
Mazingira ni maalum ya kudhibiti.
These environmental regulations are specifically designed to control the use of chemicals that have been responsible for depleting the ozone layer. The enforcement of this law falls under the authority of the Chief Government Chemist, who is responsible for inspecting all products entering the country to ensure they meet the required standards and permitted quantities. In addition, the Tanzania Bureau of Standards also has a mandate to ensure the quality of products that make use of such chemicals.
Furthermore, he adds that Tanzania is collaborating with other stakeholders and countries in research and monitoring of the ozone layer.
Tanzania inashirikiana moja kwa moja na
Tanzania works directly with other countries to take part in international meetings, where every nation is required to present its report on the implementation of agreements like this one. Efforts are also being made by the international community to ensure that the ozone layer continues to be preserved.
Every 16th of September, countries around the world mark Ozone Layer Day, honoring the Montreal Protocol Agreement of 1987, aimed at reducing the use of chemicals that deplete the ozone layer. Moving on to the next news, civil society stakeholders in the country, in collaboration with civil society organizations from various African countries, have begun a joint discussion calling on the countries to become independent by focusing on developing self-reliance across multiple areas. Speaking in Arusha during a meeting of African civil society organizations, the executive director of the Wajibu Institute, Ludovic Uto, insists revitalizing industrial sector can play a key role to achieve the desired independence. Here's a report by Sachilela Kongola, read by Caroline Maleo.
Civil society stakeholders from various African countries are meeting in Arusha to discuss how African countries can ensure economic independence. These economic experts insist that African countries are endowed with vast natural resources, making them potentially capable to be independent.
Hizi asasi zetu hizi zianze kutafuta njia sasa za.
Our organizations need to find ways to collaborate with local institutions so they can secure funding and sustain the activities through mutually agreed agreements.
Furthermore, the main organizer of the conference says the African countries are determined to eliminate poverty.
Wakiongeza kipato chao, basi wataweza kushiriki kikamilifu.
By increasing their income, organizations can fully contribute to implementing national strategies and policies. We welcome the opportunities offered by the National Strategy for Sustainable NGOs Development, as well as prospects outlined in the New Development Vision 2050.
On the other hand, some civil society stakeholders insist that there is no reason for African countries to not be independent, stressing that it is high time to focus on self-reliance.
This challenge could cause many organizations to collapse, making it harder for the nation to support its people. As civil society, we believe it is time to go back to the grassroots building capacity and changing mindset instead of remaining dependent.
The returning officer for Geita Urban Constituency, Ndaro Samson, says due to an increase of about 25 to 35% in newly registered young voters, the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, has put in place robust strategies to encourage citizens to turn out and take part in the forthcoming elections. He said that these efforts include awareness campaigns at neighborhood and village level, aimed at motivating both new and long-standing voters to exercise their constitutional right. Faidan Gaga reports from Geita region.
Participating in elections is one of the most powerful ways for citizens to shape the future of their communities and countries. By showing up at the polls, voters ensure their voices are counted in decisions that affect everything from education and healthcare to jobs, security, and infrastructure. Consistent voter turnout also strengthens democracy. That is why the returning officer of the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, for Geita Town, Ndaro Samson, says INEC continues to provide civic education and to promote policy discussions, giving citizens the opportunity to understand more clearly the visions and plans of candidates before making their choice at the ballot box.
Mikakati ambayo tumeiweka sisi kuhakikisha tunaongeza mwamko wa wananchi kushiriki.
The efforts that we have implemented include various workshops whereby we get a chance to provide civic education and voters education as well. We also provide this education to religious leaders. They help us in dissemination of information about the significance of voting and attending campaigns to people who are eligible to vote, and that includes youth.
Wapiga kura ambao ni pamoja na hilo kundi la vijana kujitokeza.
Darrow urged all citizens, particularly young people, to attend campaign rallies in large numbers so as to listen to the policies and pledges of candidates. He also reminded them of the importance of turning out in force on 29th of October, polling day, to elect leaders who will bring sustainable development to Geita and to the nation as a whole. On the other hand, some religious leaders have also been advocating for maintenance of peace during the election season.
I urge young people to not engage themselves in violent activities. They should follow the law and they should maintain peace even at the polling stations.
Manake vijana ni rahisi sana kutumiwa na wale wanasiasa ambao.
It is very easy for men to be used to violate peace, especially by politicians. Therefore, they should not let themselves be used by them.
Ultimately, every vote counts and helps shape the future. Turning out on election day is not just a right, but a responsibility. A chance to influence decisions that impact generations, but also maintaining peace is a responsibility of all citizens for sustainable development of the nation. Faiva Ngaga, TBC News, Geita.
And that brings us to the end of our news bulletin for tonight. Do not miss our next bulletin in Kiswahili at 11 p.m. On behalf of the whole team, I am Terry Mparinyanga. Have a lovely, lovely night.